Namaste, a good evening, dear friends and spiritual seekers. My name is Amelia Devirozi, and on behalf of the European Yoga Federation and the United Consciousness, I welcome all of you. And I have really the honor to thank you. Tonight, we have our first meeting, our first session of the online life management on Bhagavad Gita way. I would like to introduce you Swami Suryananda Saraswati, Amadio Bianchi, and Sir Dr. Vikramji Tamar. So,
thank you very much, Amelia ji. I also, on behalf of United Consciousness, welcome Swamiji in this 7-day series on Bhagavad Life Management, Bhagavad Gita way. I will request the admin to start with the introduction of Swamiji.
Just a minute, sir.
So in the interest of time, meanwhile, let me have the honor to introduce Swamiji. Acha, is it working? Carry on.
The Bhagavad Gita says, yoga is the journey of the self to the self, to the self. Today, we are fortunate to welcome Swami Suryananda Saraswati from India, the great son of the Buddha Federation of Humanity and a concept paper of the Ayurveda. He has been practicing teaching yoga for 52 years. He has courses in Italy, India, the result appears in spirit peace, pure contact with sexual reality, the luminaries of Ayurvedic. Kind of knowledge and available skills for everyone.
I request Swamiji to begin the talk and let the audience get benefited by the timeless story of Mahabharata. Over to you, Swamiji. You may need to unmute Swamiji. Unmute Swamiji.
I am so happy to be here with you and speak about one argument that I prefer in the life, is in my heart, Bhagavad Gita and Mahabharata. So I ask to please to Amelia G to translate me because I prefer to speak in Italian. Thank you so much. So I start now. Considero questo il primo appuntamento, nel nostro caso relativo al commento della Bhagavad Gita, che è un testo molto vicino a noi oggi perché è un testo di azione.
I consider this one to be the first real appointment related to the reading and comment of the Bhagavad Gita, a text so close to us, because it is a text of action.
Questo testo è assai ispirante per quanto riguarda un ritrovamento dell'etica in generale, ok?
It is a very inspiring text,
Sì.
as it is in terms of finding a behavior ethics in the actions, in our actions.
Sì. Un testo antico che io, come vi ho fatto capire, amo tantissimo e mi piace molto dedicarmi alla lettura, al commento di questo testo così importante, così ispirante per noi.
And as I just say before, it is one of my very favorite texts, as it's been so ancient and so inspiring in its teaching.
La Bhagavad Gita è un testo che è una parte integrante di un testo racconto a dir poco colossale che narra le gesta dei discendenti del re Bharata, considerato il capostipite della dinastia da cui discendono gli attuali abitanti dell'India, altrimenti chiamata anche Bharata, questa nazione.
As I said, the Bhagavad Gita is a text and is an integral part of this huge text tale that it tells us about the descendants of the king Bharata, and who is considered to be the founder of a dynasty from which the current inhabitants of India are coming, otherwise called as a Bharata.
Il testo non per caso si chiama Mahabharata, perché è costituito nella sua forma più completa da circa 100.000 strofe che ne fanno la più vasta composizione poetica del mondo. È presente in 18 parvan, in 18 sezioni.
The text, in fact, is called Mahabharata, which is consisting in its most complete of about 100,000 verses, which makes these the largest poetic composition in the world, which is presented in 18 parvanas, which means 18 sections.
La Bhagavad Gita è collocata nel sesto parvan o sezione di questo testo che è intitolato Bhisma Parvan, il libro di Bhisma, ed è costituito di circa 700 versi, 700 shloka, divisi in 18 canti adhyaya.
The Bhagavad Gita is placed in the sixth parvan or section, in which the text entitled Bhisma Parvan, which means the book of Bhisma, was constituted out of 700 verses, 700 slokas, divided in 18 adhyaya chants.
Quando apriamo la Bhagavad Gita e cominciamo a leggere alcuni versi, ci rendiamo conto di trovarci in un campo di battaglia, ma senza capire la ragione che ha condotto i protagonisti a scatenare una guerra, e gli attori, come se fossimo in un teatro, hanno dei nomi, ma non ne conosciamo le origini né la storia.
When we open the Bhagavad Gita normally and we read some verses, we suddenly realize that we are in a battlefield but without understanding the reason that led the protagonist, the characters, to unleash a war, and the actors, as if we were in a theater, have names, but we don't know the origins, the history.
Per questo ho deciso prima che il dottor Vigran legga i testi veri e propri e commenti la Bhagavad Gita vera e propria, ho deciso di fare con voi un viaggio a ritroso, no? Per conoscere le origini e la storia dei principali protagonisti, affinché in seguito, quando si andrà sul testo vero e proprio, possiamo meglio comprendere il senso conoscendo i protagonisti di questa racconto.
That's why I decided just before Dr. Vikramji will start talking about the verses of this poem of the Bhagavad Gita, to start a journey together with you, backwards, so that we start to know the origins and the history of this main protagonist, so that later, when we go back with Dr. Vikramji to the Bhagavad Gita, we will know their history and the origin of these characters.
A me viene spontaneo di iniziare così, come si fa con i bambini quando si racconta una storia, no? Che gli si dice, c'era una volta un re.
It would be like spontaneous for me then to start just like we start to run a story to children. No? We used to say, once upon a time, there was a king.
Infatti inizio proprio così. C'era una volta un re. Questo re si chiamava Shantanu ed era il sovrano di un antico regno che aveva per capitale Hastinapura.
And that's the way then I will start. So, once upon a time, there was a king. And this king was named Shantanu. And he was the ruler of an ancient kingdom whose capital was Hastinapura.
Mentre era a caccia, un giorno sulle rive di un fiume incontrò una bellissima fanciulla della quale subito si innamorò.
And while he was hunting one day on the banks of a river, he met a beautiful girl whom immediately fell in love with.
Si presentò a lei e le chiese di sposarla.
He introduced himself to her and asked her to get married.
Ella acconsentì poiché anch'essa era attratta dal suo interlocutore. Tuttavia impose al re alcune condizioni.
She immediately agreed because she was also very attracted to him. But all of a sudden she imposed a certain condition on the king.
Lei disse: una volta sposata dovrò essere completamente libera nelle mie azioni e tu non dovrai mai discutere la mia condotta.
And so she said, once married, I must be completely free in my actions, and you must never discuss any argument on my conduct.
Sarò tua moglie per tutto il tempo in cui rispetterai questa regola.
I will be your wife as long as you respect this rule.
Il re Shantanu, innamorato, accettò questa condizione senza riserve e si sposarono.
And King Shantanu was so much in love with her. He accepted all her conditions unreservedly, and they got married.
Al momento opportuno, lei partorì un figlio, ma appena fu in grado di alzarsi e reggere il bambino fra le sue braccia, si recò al fiume e lo annegò.
At the right time, then, she gave birth to a son. But as soon as she was able to stand up and hold her child in her arms, she went to the river and drowned him in the water.
Il re Shantanu fu sconvolto, ma aveva promesso di non discutere la condotta di sua moglie, così non fece commenti e non li fece nemmeno in altre 6 occasioni, quando cioè la moglie ripetò questo gesto in occasione di altri 6 parti.
King Shantanu was shocked, but he had promised her not to discuss any wife's conduct. So he did. He made no comment. He did not comment on the 6 other occasions when his wife repeated this same gesture on the other 6 occasions.
Ma quando nacque l'8º figlio e la regina si apprestava come di consueto a recarsi al fiume, il re la seguì e, incapace di trattenersi oltre, la pregò di interrompere quell'orribile rito.
But when the 8th son was born, the queen was preparing she was preparing herself as usual to go to the river. But then the king this time followed her and, unable to stay any longer, begged her to stop this horrible rite.
Così, essendo venuto meno alla sua promessa di non discutere il comportamento di sua moglie, il contratto di matrimonio era da considerarsi annullato.
And so, thus having failed in his promise not to discuss his wife's conduct, the marriage contract then was to be considered cancelled.
Va bene, disse la regina, risparmierò questo bambino, lo disse senza scomporsi, ma è giunto il momento di lasciarci.
And so the queen said, all right, then I will spare this child, and without even getting upset. But it's time now to leave.
Sì, rispose il re, ma prima di andartene spiegami almeno il perché del tuo comportamento.
And then the king answered, okay, but before you go, please explain at least to me the reason for your behavior.
Allora lei gli spiegò che era Ganga, la dea di quel fiume, e di aver assunto sembianze umane al solo scopo di mettere al mondo quegli 8 bambini, come era stato deciso, e di aver scelto che il padre fosse proprio lui, Shantanu, per averlo reputato degno di questa azione.
And then she started to explain to him that her name was Ganga. She was the goddess of that river, and that she was assumed a human form for the sole purpose of bringing those 8 children into the world, has been decided, and that she had chosen him as a father for having considered him, King Shantanu, worthy of this action.
Ganga spiegò anche che gli 8 bambini erano i Vasu, esseri di origine divina, ma che si erano macchiati di furto, rubando Nandini, la preziosa mucca del saggio Vashista, e per questa colpa erano stati condannati a vedere la luce sulla terra.
She also explained him that these 8 children were the Vasu, these very divine beings, but as they were make themselves stained of bad action, like stealing Nandini, the precious cow of the wise Vasishta, and for this fault they were condemned to see the light on the earth.
A 7 di questi, considerati solo complici, esaudendo le loro suppliche, era stato concesso di abbandonare il corpo subito dopo la nascita. Ma l'8º, ideatore e organizzatore del furto, spinto dai capricci della moglie, era stato condannato a vivere regolarmente sul pianeta Terra.
To the 7 of these vasos were considered only accomplishes the fulfilling their pleases. So they had been allowed to leave the body immediately after birth. But to the 8th person, the creator and organizing of the death, driven by the whims of this wife, he had been sentenced to live regularly on planet Earth.
Ora porterò questo bambino con me, ma un giorno te lo riporterò, disse Ganga, la dea del fiume, e scomparve lasciando Shantanu in uno stato di confusione.
Now I will take this child with me, but one day I will bring him back to you, said Ganga, the goddess of the river, and she disappeared, leaving Shantanu in a state of confusion.
Ora voglio che vi rendiate conto che sto facendo il riassunto di un riassunto, data l'immensità del poema.
Now, I just would like to make a brief reflection. I would like to point it out to you that I'm making a brief resume of a already brief short story.
Ma mi sono fermato per una breve riflessione perché voglio farvi notare come in questa cultura, la cultura indiana, questa cultura antica, in qualche caso la vita viene presa in considerazione anche come una possibilità di espiazione.
I would like to pose then a brief reflection and point out that in this culture, the Indian culture, in some cases, life is also considered as a possibility of atonement.
Perché per questo dovrebbe essere vissuta nell'accettazione e nel bene, affinché le conseguenze delle nostre azioni non abbiano un peso negativo troppo vincolante.
For this reason, life should be lived in acceptance and in good, so that the consequences of our actions do not have a negative weight binding too much.
Amelia G, I thank you because you are translating in a perfect way. Please tell me when there is 5 minutes so I can, because you know I read, I teach without this passion that I forgot the time. Please tell me when is the time that I need to end my intervention. Thank you.
Ok, abbiamo 7 minuti.
Ok. So now we came back. Adesso torniamo indietro un attimino, un po' indietro proprio nella storia vera e propria. Alcuni anni dopo, mentre il re Shantanu si trovava nei pressi del fiume, riapparve al cospetto del re Ganga e gli presentò il loro figlio giovinetto.
So let's go back then to our story. A few years later, while King Shantanu was by the river, Ganga reappeared before the king, and she introduced to him their young son.
L'ho allevato dedicandogli ogni cura, disse Ganga.
And so,
ora può venire con te.
And so Ganga said to the king, I raised him to give him every care. Now he can come with you.
Si chiama Devavrata. È stato istruito dal saggio Vasista in persona. Diventerà un saggio e famoso guerriero, un uomo dotato di rare virtù morali e spirituali e altri doni. Detto questo, la dea Ganga scomparve nuovamente nel fiume.
His name is Devavrata. He was instructed by Vasishta, the wise, by Vasishta himself. He will become a very wise and famous warrior. a man endowed with rare moral and spiritual virtues. These were the words made by the goddess Ganga, and then she disappeared once more.
Il re Shantanu, in preda alla gioia più grande, ritornò nel suo palazzo insieme al giovinetto e ve lo insediò come suo legittimo erede.
King Shantanu was so happy. He returned to the palace and introduced his young child to the court.
Nella Bhagavad Gita lo ritroviamo citato con il nome di Bhishma. E ora dalla sua storia andiamo a capire un po' di più, incluso il suo cambio di nome.
During the Bhagavad Gita story, we will find him mentioned with the name of Bhishma. Now, from this history, we go backward in order to understand a little more, including why he changed his name.
4 anni dopo, mentre il re Shantanu inseguiva un cervo, si imbatté nuovamente in una splendida fanciulla e ancora una volta si innamorò all'istante. Chi sei? Le chiese. Come mai sei qui vicino al fiume?
4 years later, while the king Shantanu was hunting a deer, he was running and he met a beautiful girl. Once again, he felt in love immediately.
Chi sei? Le chiese. Come mai sei qui vicino al fiume?
And so he asked her, "Who are you? Why are you here so close to the river?"
Sono la figlia di un pescatore. Aiuto mio padre a traghettare i viandanti sull'altra riva, disse lei.
I am the daughter of a fisherman. I help my father to ferry all the people from one side to the other shore of the river.
Il re andò in cerca del padre e la chiese in sposa. L'uomo accettò di buon grado, ma pose le condizioni che il figlio che fosse nato da lei divenisse il suo successore.
The king then went in search of her father, and asked him to get the daughter as his wife. Obviously, the man was very happy to accept, but he placed a condition that the son that would be born from this union will be the successor.
Questo il re non poteva accettarlo, avendo già come erede il figlio avuto con Ganga, Devavrata.
Obviously, the king could not accept this imposition, having already a son, Devavrata, who he had from Ganga.
Il re ritornò al palazzo, deluso, amareggiato e triste.
So the king returned to the palace, disappointed, sad, and embittered.
Nei giorni seguenti, il giovane principe Devavrata, accortosi dell'umore melanconico del padre, gli domandò: "Padre, che cos'è che turba la tua mente?"
In the following days, the young prince Devavrata became aware of the melancholy mood of the father, and so he asked him, "Father, what troubles your mind?"
Sono in ansia per il nostro futuro, gli rispose il re, per il futuro della nostra dinastia. Tu sei il mio unico figlio. Se dovesse colpirti una sventura, la nostra dinastia si estinguerebbe.
And so the king replied, "I'm a little anxious for our future, for the future of our dynasty. you are my only son. If something happens to you like a misfortune, our dynasty will be extinguished.
Tu ti addestri continuamente con le armi e diverrai un prode guerriero. Ma come si può predire la fine di un guerriero?
You train yourself very hardly with the weapons, and for sure you will become a very brave warrior. But how can you predict the end of a warrior?
Le parole del padre colpirono il principe Devavrata, che di nascosto chiese chiarimenti al ministro.
The words of his father really struck the Prince Devavrata, who secretly asked the minister to clarify this point.
Questi gli spiegò che avrebbe voluto sposare la figlia del pescatore, ma per le condizioni imposte da questo non poteva accettare a causa della sua presenza come diretto discendente al trono.
And he explained him that the king wanted to marry the fisherman's daughter, but due to the conditions imposed by the father of this younger girl, he could not accept because of the presence as a direct descendant to the throne.
Devavrata allora si recò dal pescatore e, intenzionato a scegliere la castità, gli promise che a tempo debito il nascituro di sua figlia sarebbe salito al trono.
So Devavrata then went to the fisherman, and he promised that he would get into chastity, and due to this, the son of the future son of the king would rise to the throne.
Il pescatore si fece promettere anche che il nipote nato da sua figlia sarebbe stato il successore della dinastia.
So the fisherman also made promise that his daughter's grandson would be the successor to the dynasty.
Il pescatore era finalmente soddisfatto e fu in questa occasione che Devavrata assunse il nome di Bhisma, che significa uomo dal saldo intento.
So the fisherman was finally satisfied, and was just in this occasion that Devavrata changed his name and assumed the name of Bhishma, which means man with the firm intent.
Bhisma caricò la giovane fanciulla sul carro e le disse: d'ora in poi tu sarai mia madre.
So Bhisma took the young girl on the chart and told her, from now on, you will be my mother.
I think is the time correct. Huh?
Yes.
In this way, we present you one of the protagonists of Bhagavad Gita, Bhisma. Grazie per avermi seguito fino qui. Ora lasciamo la parola al dottor Vikrant che vi parlerà della Bhagavad Gita.
So now we'll stop here with the Mahabharata. We talk about the Bhisma as a character. And I would like to leave the words and the floor to Dr. Vikramji, who will introduce to us the very wise words of the Bhagavad Gita. And tonight, Dr. Vikramji will speak about the Karma Yoga, the right action with proper attitude for liberation. So the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, respected Swamiji. Thank you, Ameliaji. And I welcome all of you, dear friends. We are going to talk about the timeless message of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad. Bhag means the Lord himself. Vad means spoke. Gita means song celestial. So it's a song celestial spoken by Lord himself. That is what is the literal meaning of Bhagavad Gita. Everybody on this planet wants peace and happiness. Peace and happiness is the goal of every goal of life. But in spite of that, we are most intelligent and least happy species. And that's why Bhagavad Gita becomes extremely relevant, because it teaches us the path to reach permanent peace and happiness in life, not temporary, permanent peace and happiness. From India to Australia, from Australia to London, from London to New York, every part of the world, go and ask any parent, what do you want for your kids? What kind of life you want for your kids? They will say, we want peace and happiness for our kids. How to get it? How to get associated with it? Bhagavad Gita gives the key to it. Chapter 3, 4, and 5 of Bhagavad Gita talks about Karma Yoga. Chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita is the Gita summary, and chapter 1 is introduction. Chapter 1 introduction, chapter 2 is the summary. Chapter 3, 4, 5 of Bhagavad Gita talks about Karma Yoga. So today we are going to talk about Karma Yoga as an instrument of permanent peace and happiness in life, of liberation in life. So Gita has 700 verses. We are going to talk about chapter 3, 4, and 5 now. Karma Yoga. Karma is made up of a Sanskrit root called kri, means action. It also means results of the action. So when you say karma, it means action, and the results of action also is karma. Yoga. Yoga is derived from the root yuj, to connect with self, to connect me with myself, and to connect me with Supreme, both. So karma means action and results of action, both. Yoga means connecting me with self and Supreme, both. So what is Karma Yoga? Any action that takes me towards self and Supreme is Karma Yoga. So every action is not Karma Yoga. Only those actions which will take me towards Supreme and self is Karma Yoga. So how to convert our ordinary actions into Karma Yoga? Because Karma Yoga is the art and science of peace and happiness. We are going to talk about it now. So what is Karma Yoga and how to install it in our life? So divide your life in 3 major aspects. First is called situations. Second is called actions. And third is called results. Situations, actions, results. In Sanskrit, you call it situations as prarabdha. That happens to you, that comes to you. A set of circumstances in which one finds himself or herself is called situation. Action in Sanskrit is called purushartha. My response to that situation is my action. Third is results. In Sanskrit, it will be called as karma phala. The outcome of that action that I take is called karma phala. So divide life in 3 facets: situation, action, results. Now let's go deeper. Let's first talk about situation. So 3 things in situation we need to be very clear about. First, know what is in the situation is in my control and what is not in my control. Being very clear about it, first thing that we should be very clear about it is what are the things which I can control and what are the things which I cannot control. So let me tell you, whatever you see around, I'm going to ask you 6 questions. You may need to answer me. Thumb up means you can control. Thumb down means you cannot control. If anybody of you can switch on the camera, it will be easier for me to see you, whether your answer is correct or wrong. And then I will tell you whether you can control that situation or not. Otherwise, also, you can write in the chat box so that I can follow. In chat box, if you are writing it, you may need to write, if you want to say control, you need to write C. Not control, you need to write NC. Whether can you control this or you can't control this. Fine. So first question to you. You may write chat box but you may need to answer within 3 seconds. No longer time, 3 seconds. Fine. First question. My past mistakes, can you control or you can't? If you say you can control or you can't. Perfect. Everybody of you, I'm waiting for your responses in chat box. Very good, very good, very good. The right answer is, I can't control. It has happened. Second question. My upbringing, the way I am being raised, the way my parents have raised me. Can you control it or you can't? Yes, the right answer is, I can't control it. Perfect. Third question. Job security. Now it is tricky one. Can you control or you can't? Job security. The right answer is, it's completely in my control. Job security is a state of mind. If you feel secured, you are secured. If you don't feel secure, you are not secure wherever you go. Next is, my job targets, in my control or not in my control? My job targets. Quick. The right answer is, not in my control. When you do business, you decide your own targets. But when you do job, your bosses give you the targets. Let's go further. Next. Question number 5th. My results. My results. In control or not in control? Perfect. The right answer is, not in control. You can only influence your results by your hard work, but you can't control it. The last question. My promotion. Can you control or you can't control? The right answer is, you can't control. So the first point that we need to understand is, know very well in life what you can control and what you can't. This is first point in situation. Second, see the situation as it is. Whatever. Don't see situation in the pair of opposites. When you say pair of opposites, means don't call it good or bad. Don't call it, I like this and I don't. Don't call it fortunate or unfortunate. This is just a situation. You need to deal with it. Like in war, they don't have any problem room. They have just a situation room. A situation to be dealt with. So a karma yogi never calls something good or bad. It's a situation. Doesn't color it with pair of opposites. Because when you put it everything within good and bad, then for good, you get more longing for, bad hurts you. In both cases, you get emotionally disturbed. Third thing that we need to take care in that is, no would, could, should. No would, could, should. I would have done that. I could have done that. I should have done that. These things only bring misery to us. Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 11 says, Gatasun agatasu na anushochanti panditaha. Whatever has been done, whatever has happened, and whatever has not yet arrived, intelligent people do not worry about both. Because whatever has gone, let bygones be bygones. And whatever has not yet arrived, your imagination will unnecessarily put you in pressure. So 3 things that we need to do. Once you are clear about it, then what we get is called Samatvam Yoguchyate, verse 48, chapter 2. Samatvam means equipoised mental state. So you remain relatively more balanced. Like we all are homeostatus. It means we can adjust our temperature. We can maintain our temperature inside, irrespective of the outside situation. Similarly, we need to be mental status also. should be able to maintain an inner balance irrespective of the situation also. Like Rumi, a famous philosopher, used to say, out beyond the ideas of right and wrong, there is a field. There is a field beyond calling people right and wrong, good or bad. There is a field. I will meet you there. If you really want to be peaceful, start seeing beyond good, bad, ugly, beautiful. See things as they are. This is first is called situation. Once you understand in that situation, there's certain things which are not in my control, then you will also know that there are certain things which are completely in my control. And then when the things are in my control, second is actions, purushartha. Now give your 100% to whatever is in your control. It also has three facets. First, giving 100% efforts. Giving your 100% in whatever you can control. This is very much important. Michael Phelps, a famous swimmer, Olympian champion, 23 gold medals. When he himself was the Olympic champion, he gave an interview and he said, I used to wonder, I'm the world champion. How can I improve now any further? And then he realized that he was making one mistake. And what mistake he was making? While he was swimming, he used to, for a couple of microseconds, he used to see the competitors, how much his competitors are behind him. And he said, I realized while I am looking back and seeing to the competitors, my focus is not 100% on my efforts. And then he realized, and that day onwards, he stopped looking at the competitors and he started focusing on efforts only. And he broke his old records. But again, the same question came to him, how can now I improve all the more? Then he also thought one interesting thing. He said that I realized that while swimming, for a couple of microseconds, I come over the water level and see how far is the objective, the end line from me. When I'm seeing the objective or the end line, those microseconds, my focus is not on my efforts, but on objectives. And even that is a deviation, he said. And he said that I feel at times goal itself becomes a big obstacle in achieving the goals. So it is very much important to withdraw all your attention and put it in the efforts. This is what Michael Phelps said. And Gita says, chapter 2, verse 47, Karmani eva adhikaraste. Only one thing is there in your control, that is what you do. What happens to you is never in your control. If you keep on thinking about what happens to you, why it happened, you will remain miserable throughout your life. So focus on what you can respond to it. Point number one, give your 100% efforts. Second point, give your 100% focus. Not only efforts, focused efforts. When you're doing it, you should be 100% involved in it. Either you don't do it, but if you're doing it, nothing else should matter then. If I will either not do it, if I do it, then it will be my best ever. So how will you know? It should be the last thought when you go to sleep in night. Whatever is your objective, it should be the first thought when you wake up in the morning. If you are that much involved, it means your focus is 100%. Third point, 100% self-control. It is also must. What do we mean by 100% self-control? Upholding every promise that you do to yourself. If you said to yourself tomorrow morning onwards, I will start doing yoga, then do it. Deadline means either you are at that line when you decided, or you are dead. This is what deadline means. Make a plan and live your plan. This is what it is. So 100% self-control. Uphold every promise that you do to yourself. It is very important, because if you default any promise with yourself, it is what you call that you lack self-confidence. So these three things in Purushartha we need to do. And that leads to another definition of yoga in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 50. Yoga karmashu kaushalam. Then you will become skilled in whatever you do. 100% efforts, focus, and self-control. Whatever you do, you will become skilled. Yoga karmashu kaushalam. The skill, the dexterity in action is also called yoga. So first is in situation, samatvam yogyuchyate, mental balance. In this physical balance, yoga karmashu kaushalam. Whatever you do, you are skilled in that. Now, last part, component left is karma phala, result, the outcome of what you do. Like Michael Phelps. So he understood it that I should stop looking at the objectives. Then what should I do? I should count my hands. How many strokes does it need to reach to the objective, the goal, the last line? And he used to jump into the water and count his strokes and done. He never used to bother about the results. So first lesson about this is accept results as it is, whatever comes to you, because you have no other option. Results are never in your control. You give your best and leave the rest. So accept results as it is. As they say, Insha'Allah, God willing, Jaisa Ram Chahe, in different languages. God willing. I give my best, God willing, I succeed. God willing, I may not. So when you succeed, you get filled up with gratitude because you know there is certain higher forces that applies on you. It's not only your effort, there are some higher blessings also. So you get filled with gratitude rather than arrogance that I did it. And when you fail in case, again, God willing, some higher forces doesn't wanted me to succeed. That's fine. So you won't go in depression. So you will be balanced in each cases. In Hindi, in Sanskrit, it is called Isha Krapa. Ish means Lord, God. Krapa means blessings. Blessings of the Lord I succeeded. But if I fail, it is called Ish Ichha. God willing. God wanted me to fail this time. That's okay. This is how I've lived my life. That way you become balanced. No arrogance, no depression. Second point to take care in that is no mental dependency on results. If you are mentally dependent on results, your life will be a roller coaster ride. Today results are good, you are very happy. Tomorrow results are bad, you are sad. Today you got promotion in time, you are happy. Tomorrow you didn't get, you are sad. Today your beloved smiled at you, you are happy. Tomorrow relationship broke, you are sad. You will be just like Nifty. You will be just like Sensex. Very vulnerable. You never know what will happen to you tomorrow. What kind of life it is? Such vulnerable life. Because you're depending on something that is out of your control. Anywhere, if you depend on anything which is out of your control, you'll be miserable for sure. Whether it is a relationship, person, results, or whatever. So second thing is no mental dependency on results. And the last is effortful effortlessness. Effortful. Give your 100% efforts and leave it. Effortful effortlessness. First you do your 100% effort and then you forget about it. Let the results come to you because this is what happens. This is in Sanskrit called Nishkama Karma. Karma, Nishkama. Nish means without. Kam means bounded desires. That I want this only. This is called Nishkam Karma. No such musts in life. This or I'll be unhappy. This or I'll be unhappy. And that becomes problem in life. So effortful effortlessness. Give your 100% and then enter into the zone of effortlessness. When you fire a bullet, your control is till you focus and put the trigger on. But whether bullet will hit the target, it's out of your control. So focus on what is in your control and leave what is not in your control. You may learn it from Fleming's left-hand rule. Remember that left-hand rule? Fleming's left-hand rule we used to learn in physics. This is my way. And now how we can learn it in Karma Phala? This is my way. I thought my life will go this way, but it's not going this way. These three fingers represent highway, H-I-G-H, highway. My relatives, my mother, my parents, my society, other around thought that I will do this much. But today when I see my life, neither my way happened nor highway happened. So neither I have done this nor I have done this. Then neither my way happens nor thy way happens. Then what is the rule? Thy way is happening. So when in life neither my way happens nor highway happens, it means thy way is happening and thy way is always correct. Thy way is never wrong because we have limited intelligence. We used to smile at some relationships once upon a time. The same relationship made us cry after some years. So we have limited understanding. What we thought good later on appeared to be bad, and what we thought bad later on appeared to be good. Some things happened as a blessing in disguise. So we have very limited intelligence. And this is why the moment you understand this nishkama karma, give your best and leave the rest, then the third definition of yoga in Gita, chapter 2, verse 53, samadho achila buddhihi. You get single-pointed, focused mind. Ab imagine a life, no mood fluctuation, samatvam yogi uchyate, balanced state of mind. Yoga karmashu kaushalam, whatever you do, you are perfect in that. And very fixed and focused intelligence. Samadho achala buddhi. These three things will equip you to start the journey towards self. It is must to go for the journey towards self. In verse 41, chapter 2, Lord Krishna says, Vyavasai Atmika Buddhi, a mind which is still. Bible says, Jesus says in Bible, be still and know I am your God. If you are not still, you can register nothing. Even if you are listening to me and if you are cooking something, you can't register what I am saying. At least not in the same spirit. And that leads to, makes a person Atmavana. One person starts the journey to realize himself. Now I'm going to give you a small questionnaire so that you will know where are you in this journey. So take out your pen. I'm going to ask you very simple questions. Every question you need to give marks out of 10. 10 on 10, if your answer is exactly you do this, you are exactly like that, it means 10 on 10. No, I'm not like that, 0 on 10. At times I'm like this, at times I'm like that, 5 on 10. Fine. If you agree with that, 10 on 10. If you don't, 0 on 10. And if you are in between, give 5, 4, 3, whatever you want to. First question, take out your pen. Question number 1. I know that what I can control and what I can't. And I never get confused in that. I am very sure, question number 1, that what I can control and what I'm not. And I'm never confused in that. Give yourself marks on 10. If at times you get confused, give 6. Generally you get confused, give 4. And always you are confused, give 0, whatever. Second question. Whatever I control, I cannot control, I accept it gracefully. Whatever in this life which I can't control, but I accept it very gracefully. Whether my beloved says no to me, whether I don't get promotion in time, whether my results are wrong, whatever I can't control, I accept it very gracefully. Do you do that? Give yourself marks. Question number 3. I remain calm in both good and bad situations. In best and the worst times of my life, I was balanced, completely calm. When best was happening to me, I was not elated with joy. When worst was happening to me, I was not doomed in depression like this. Give yourself marks. Think. Question number 4. I don't see people as good or bad. I never use such vocabulary. He's a bad person. He's a good person. No. People are people as they are. I don't see people as good or bad. Question number 4. Now question number 5. I don't feel sad about past bad incidences. Whenever I look back to my memory lane and I see things were not good, I don't feel bad about it at all. Whatever happens in life happens for good, period. Are you like this? What you do, please mark on the basis of that, not what you think actually. What you actually do in your behavior. Question number 6. I don't worry about future. I don't worry about future. Give yourself marks. Done? Perfect. These 6 marks are the marks of your situational control. Now, next question. Question number 7. Whatever I do, either I don't do it, or if I'm doing it, I give my 100%. Whatever I do, I give my 100% into it. Wherever, whatever I do. Give yourself marks. Do you always do it? Write down. Question number 8. The task in hands, whatever task I'm doing, becomes the last thought when I go to sleep and is the first thought when I get up in the morning. Give yourself marks on 10. Quick, quick, quick. Question number 9. I remain completely focused in what I do. Whatever I do, I remain completely focused. Give yourself marks on 10. Question number 11. Question number 10. Time flies and even I lose myself when I do my work. Time flies and I lose myself also. I get so much involved whenever I work. Give yourself marks. Question number 11. I uphold every promise I do with myself. I uphold every promise I do with myself. Question number 12. I plan my day and I act on plan as it is always. I never fail my timetables. Quick, give yourself marks on 10. These from 7 to 12 are the questions for your actions. Now, 13th question. I accept good and bad results alike. Whether good or bad results, I take it alike. Question number 14. Once I am convinced with the task, I don't think about results. If I am convinced with the task, I get focused in task and I don't think even about the results. Give yourself marks. Question number 15. After results, I neither repent or rejoice. Whatever results come, I never repent. Or I don't get too much elated. Give yourself marks. Question number 16. My happiness doesn't depend on the kind of results I get. Good or bad, my happiness never depends on it. Even if the results are bad, I'll remain happy. Question number 17. I give my best and leave the rest. Is it your attitude in life? Give yourself marks. Last question, question number 18. My mood does not depend on the results. My mood doesn't depend on the results. Fine. Perfect. So now you can total it later, but if your marks are between 0 to 30, it means you are raw. If your marks are between 31 to 60, it means you are scrolling on the path of yoga. If your marks are between 61 to 19, it means you are walking on the path of yoga. If your marks are between 91 to 120, you are walking fast on the path of yoga. And if your marks are between 121 to 179, you are running actually on the path of yoga. And if you got 180 on 180, then you are fit to be a Karma Yogi very soon. So you can total it later. Let's summarize what we discussed. We discussed Karma Yoga means, it is in chapter 3, 4, 5 of Bhagavad Gita. Karma starts from Kri Dhatu, that means action and the results of action. Yoga from Yuj root, from connect with self and supreme. So any action that takes me towards self or supreme is called Karma Yoga. Not every action is Karma Yoga. Only specific action becomes yoga. So what are those specific actions? For situation, 3 things. Know what is in my control and what is not. Second, see situation not in pairs of opposites. And third, know would, could, should. And this is what we call Samachvan Yoga Uchyate, be equipoised mentally. Second, in situation. Second is in actions called Purushartha. First is give your 100% effort, give your 100% focus, and give your 100% self-control. Yoga, Karmshu, Kaushalam, dexterity in action becomes yoga. And third is about results, Karma Phala, outcome of those responses. So first is accept results as it is. Isha Karpa, God willing. Surrender. And another is no mental dependency on results. and effortful effortlessness, called it nishkama karma, that leads to samadho achala buddhi, single pointed buddhi, that leads to a person becomes atmavan, self-focused and ready to get liberated, at least on the beginning level. So this is a small introduction of karma yoga. Now me and Swamiji both are open for questions. I request whosoever wants to ask any question, they can switch on their camera so that we can see them and you can ask questions. If you're not comfortable with switching on the camera, you can, without switch on the camera, also ask the question. But yes, it will be good if you can switch on the camera and ask question. Any question, anybody? Yes, please carry on. Please mention your name, from where you are, and then start. Unmute. Can admin?
Yeah. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Dr. Tomar, this is Aditya from Dubai. My question is about 100% effort versus overdoing things. So how do we know that we are in the 100% or we are approaching it 100% or we are trying too hard towards anything?
Whenever we do effort, when we say 100%, only there is one yardstick. Ask yourself very honestly, could I have done better? If answer is yes, it means the effort was not 100%. If answer is no, it means effort was 100%. In spite of your 100% efforts, continuously, if you are not getting it, it means you are made for something else. Maybe something better or something else, but not for this. So give your 100% efforts, then you will realize it, whether those things are made for you or not. But without doing it.
But I always feel, no matter how hard I work towards something, I always feel there is something else that could have been done. And in hindsight, especially, so, okay, your mind starts working, this could have been done, or there was some other approach that one could have taken. So, which is what brings in this confusion and question.
Got it. Whenever you are planning, sit back and make the best plan possible in a given situation. Might have beens has no place in life. This is the first part of situation. Would, could, should. I could have done that. I should have done that. This happens when we invest relatively less time in planning. Let's get fully convinced with the plan, or in fact, draft it that why I believe in this plan. What I thought, because when I was making this plan, I thought at that moment that it is the best plan to do. So let's draft that what made me think it is best.
Right.
And once we execute things, once things are done, and then when it comes to I could have done that, I should have done that, it may be learning for future, but when we repent, it consumes our energy. Fine. So the solution is, let's have more better plan, give our 100%. If plan is good, efforts are 100%, still I am not getting it, it means something better, something else is made for me.
Right.
God and situations are preparing me for something else. Napoleon always wanted to be a poet, but he failed so miserably in writing poems because his destiny wanted him to take him to the king of France. So destiny at times plays a role. Karl Marx, that famous philosopher, applied for a stenographer position. He failed miserably because he had to write famous book called The Capital. So destiny takes us towards some directions, which we can't see from here. Makes sense?
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Kumar.
Any other question, anybody? Yes, please carry on. Mention a name, from where you are, and then put the question. Please unmute. Can you unmute? Yes.
Thank you, Doctor, for the enlightening discussion talk. My name is Adrian. I'm from South Africa. I would like to know, okay, if you were to make 100% effort, first of all, how do you know whether your ladder is leaning on the right wall, whether it is the right action that you are pursuing in order to get you to your goal? Do we seek intuitionally, or or we seek advice? How do we know what the right action is?
4-point answer. The question is, what is right action? What is the definition of right action? Ask yourself 4 questions. Question number 1, is it done with right intentions? Question number 2, is it in the interest of majority? Please focus on the words. I am not saying, is it in the interest of everybody? Because there is nothing on the planet which is in the interest of everybody. There will be one fellow you will find who said, no, I don't like it. Fine. So it is only about majority. So is it in the interest of majority? Fine. Third, will its long-term results be good up to my best understanding? Because right now I'm liking it. That's why I'm doing it. But whether its long-term results be good? And the last is it sustainable? If all 8 billion people on the planet will start doing the same, can world last? If it is that right, let everybody do it. Fine. If all 4 questions, answer is yes, rest assured whatever you are doing is right. And you will never suffer in life. But if all your questions are answers are wrong, answers are no, then also rest assured, because nobody in the world can save you now from suffering. You will suffer for sure. So in both of the cases, it's assurity. If answers are yes, be assured you will never suffer. And if answers are no, be assured nobody can save you from suffering. This is the definition of right action. Have I answered you?
Yes, but also, is it safe to assume that there are also no absolutes? There's no 100% right or 100% wrong. It just is what it is. Is it right in saying that?
Righteousness is, in Sanskrit, is called dharma, the natural order of the universe. So whatever is aligned with the natural order of the universe is right. Whatever is not aligned is wrong. So what is the natural order of the universe? Natural order of the universe is you should sleep in night, because all animals sleep in night. Fine. And what time you should sleep in night? Natural order of your body. Circadian rhythm says that 9:30 p.m. in night, your brain generates melatonin hormones that are generated to make you sleep. But you choose to switch on the lights and wake up till 3 o'clock in the morning. It means you choose to be against the natural order. And that will create deformity in your life for sure. So whenever you are aligned, because we are SPAC, Adrian, we are SPAC. A SPAC cannot fight against the cosmos. We have to be abided by the natural order. And that is right. It is the natural order that electron will move around the nucleus and the centripetal and Fugger force will balance each other. Imagine for a microsecond, an electron feels like, I don't feel like revolving around. Whole universe will go to vanish in a second. We all are there because at micro, at macro level, everything is following its own dharma. Fine. And dharma is right. There are absolute rights. It's absolute right. Yes, in social definitions, you may call some social things, but in absolute definition, there is an absolute definition of right, and that is what you call dharma. Make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question? Thank you. Please, Sarah. Sarah, you may not hear.
Okay.
I guess you are logged in from 2 devices. Yes. So this journey with the blessings of Swamiji, we will continue in many of the series. It is a 7 session series. It is the first session today we discussed only on Karma Yoga. And Swamiji started and reached only till Bhishma. Yes, Sarah. Sarah, you may need to unmute. You can't unmute, is it? Sarah.
Okay,
Yes.
got it. Thank you. It's not me. My son wants to ask you something.
How do you give 100%?
How do you give 100%? When you do what you love, whatever happens is always 100%. Like when you love to play, maybe basketball, and when you play it, you forget yourself. You forget everything other than the ball and the goal. So whenever you do whatever you love, it automatically becomes 100%. So we need to start loving what we do. If we are studying, love what you are studying. If you're with your mother, love being with the mother. When you love, 100% becomes spontaneous. Like I'm loving talking to you. So nothing in this universe matters right now more than you, because I'm loving talking to you. But if I'm not loving talking to you, then I need to snatch my attention and give it to you. Then it becomes difficulty. So the solution is love what you are doing. If you are eating food, love that food. Such a beautiful thing. Think about the whole journey of that food that came to your plate, direct from the fields and farms. So much journey it took just to reach in your plate and to go to your abdomen to provide you energy. Such a great journey that food has taken place. When you wear this cloth, imagine the amazing journey that cotton has taken place directly from the farms, through all processing, all coloring, shedding, so that it can touch your skin and safeguard you. So many things are happening around you. You sit back and see, you will automatically fall in love with that. Make sense? When you love, you give your 100%. Got it?
Yes.
Do you love me?
Yes.
I also love you. Thank you. He is the youngest participant of these
I think so.
My salutations. My salutations.
Thank you.
I wish at your age I would have attended these classes.
Yeah, you just stay here and I love listen to you. So it's nice.
Perfect.
I'm gonna check if there is any question on YouTube and I'll let you know.
Yes, anybody. Perfect. So I was meanwhile, till anybody has any question, Swamiji, if you want to say anything, or if anybody has any question, this journey will continue for next 6 weeks also. So anybody who wants to get benefited from this beautiful story of Mahabharata, which Swamiji is telling, I have heard these stories time and again, but when Swamiji was saying it, I was listening to it with so much love. It is so beautifully with the passion with which you say, Swamiji. Thank you very much for that.
Grazie a tutti. Volevo fare capire quanto sono importanti questi testi, Amelia, perché lì troviamo veramente la giusta direzione per comportarci in pratica nella vita. Il mio compito è di presentare la storia, però lì dentro troviamo la retta, il modo retto del comportamento della vita.
I would like to thanks for being here, really thanks. And I would like to point out once more how much important is to read about this ancient text, the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, as in this text we find the right way where all the rightness in life, all the right information, all the right way to live life, they're all inside enclosed in this text.
Indeed.
Se posso aggiungere una cosa, è molto importante quello che ha detto il dottor Vikrant e che è alla base anche dello yoga, di non agire con desiderio.
And I would like to point out a word that Dr. Vikramji was saying before, so beautiful. Is at the base of the yoga itself, to act without the desire of the fruit of the action.
Nella ricerca della nostra pace, del nostro equilibrio, il desiderio, no? È proprio già di per sé tensione, cioè quando io desidero una cosa sono già teso. Invece le nostre discipline, lo yoga, eccetera, eccetera, invece sono alla ricerca della pace, della felicità, della gioia, della gioia di vivere, e quindi il desiderio che è già tensione è uno dei nostri nemici nell'azione.
Talking about peace and harmony, when we act with the desire itself make us tight, make us close, and these will not allow a nice performance, a good performance, and we don't enjoy what we do. So the first thing, the first base, like in yoga, is to act without the desire, in order for ourselves to live in peace and harmony.
Se posso dire un'ultima cosa, e chiedo scusa se mi sto prendendo troppo tempo, di tenere d'occhio la mente, perché la mente è quella che può costruire un'azione corretta o meno. Intendo dire questo: per esempio, se io mi predispongo al lavoro con tensione, perché non mi piace, già nel lavoro non starò con la gioia di vivere. Ma se io penso al lavoro nell'attitudine corretta, allora il lavoro si può trasformare, possiamo rovesciare le vacanze del lavoro, perché il lavoro può diventare una vacanza quando io lo affronto con la giusta attitudine. E con questo io ho terminato.
And if I may say something else, something more, we should bear in mind the mind, to keep an eye on our mind. As for instance, if we work with tension, our work is getting unpleasant. And while if we work with the right attitude, and we like and we love what we do not need holiday, because our work itself is a holiday.
Perfect. True. And one interesting thing I want to tell you, thank you very much, Adrian from South Africa. Let me share one interesting thing what he made. I loved it. Thank you. Let me show you. He was so spontaneous as a student. He just made a diagram of the whole session today. See? And he shared that diagram with everybody in the chat box, whatever was told today. Excellent. I'm amazed to see. This is what I call yoga karmshu kaushlam, dexterity in action, single pointed focus, 100% efforts. That's amazing. Thank you. Okay, we are still left with maybe a couple of minutes. Anybody has any question? Next week, the topic, the story will go from Bhishma onwards, and I will be talking about law of karma. It is a beautiful topic, and it is the essence of Gita. Today we had karma yoga. Next week we'll have law of karma. I suggest anybody in your fraternity who wants to attend these classes live, they can attend these classes live. The purpose of European Yoga Federation is this only, to spread the goodness beyond boundaries. So everybody is invited. If anybody has any question. Thank you, Abhishek ji. So we are still left with 5 minutes. Anybody, any questions, any sharing, anything else, you're welcome. We have Larissa. Well, Larissa, can we listen to you? From where are you? And we have Valentina. Valentina? Perfect. Okay, if there are no questions, then I think we are good for the day, and we can close 5 minutes early also. Yes, we have Larissa here. Hello. From where are you? Yes. You may need to unmute.
Doesn't work. Ah, yeah, yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for this beautiful lesson. I'm from Australia. Sorry, it's 4:30
Oh my
here.
goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy to join. Thank you very much.
It means when the session started, it must be 3:15 at your place, midnight.
Yeah.
I
3:15.
salute your instinct of gaining knowledge. So we had Sarah's son, who was youngest, to attend the session. And we have Larissa, who woke up at 3:30 around morning to attend this timeless wisdom. My salutations to your dedication.
Thank you very much.
Next week, we'll meet again with a couple of more topics in this.
Yeah.
Who is there
Of
in our
course.
class? Fizen. Fizen, from, if you can, listeners, from where are you? We have Ravindra Reddy ji also. Good to see a small class where we can interact with everybody together in more open way. Hargun, I know her. Perfect. Okay. So it's all over from my side. Swamiji, any last remarks if you want to say? Everybody has asked the questions, whatever they have. So we'll meet again next week also. So my side, thank you very much, everybody, for being here. Let's create a great learning journey together with United Consciousness and European Yoga Federation. Over to Swamiji. Acha, Fajin is from Turkey. Good to see you. Welcome. No worries. Over to you, Swamiji. Any last remarks before we close for the day?
Voglio solo salutare e invitare le persone a stare presenti e a ritornare, a trovarci, a stare con noi, perché la storia è continua. Faremo 6 trasmissioni, ma potrebbero essere tante e tante di più, perché è un argomento così vasto che non si finirebbe mai.
Just a last remark, really would like to thank everybody, and nice to carry on this journey all together. So we'll see in the next 6 meeting, and as the argument is so vast and huge, we might think to carry on with some other meeting. Has been so interesting and deep knowledge.
Thank you. We acknowledge your presence, Baba Adnanji from Turkey. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you, Swara. Thank you, Amelia ji. Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to
Bye,
you.
Bye.
Bye. Namaste.
Namaste.